Howdy, partner. Welcome to the Wild West. And the name's Isla, and you, my friend, are lucky enough to step off the train in our humble abode of a town. Rattlesnake Ranch, a darn fine place to live among thy fellow man and work side by side with your neighbor. Indeed, we've built many a wonderful business round here, including our powerhouse coal mine fueling the entire town. Yes, sirree, it is the primary employer of most of our townsfolk. A fine dapper hotel establishment has also been built, as well as our Burning Throat Saloon, named after our coal mining company and the coal mining affairs that happen here at Rattlesnake Ranch. We have a train station, but I suppose you in particular are already aware of this one, eh? Hope you didn't have to wait for too long. We've also got our House of Law and Order. This is our sheriff's office. Our sheriff is dead. I'm sorry, it's still pretty recent. He was one of our founding members, and such a sweet soul, truly. Not to worry though, I've got the best of the best helping me find a suitable replacement for our beloved peacekeeper, as well as a mayor. Until then though, I'm afraid that the show must go on. One of the biggest things that we are going to be doing in today's episode is construction and expansion. We are going to be annexing some land just on the outskirts of our town, and that way we can expand our town, our business, and other constructions out into these new areas. Is it really annexation if we already own the entire region? Probably not, but I don't know, it's a nice word, I think. With our much smaller expansion here beginning on the western side of our town, we are going to be building ourselves our very own general store. Yes, indeed, every wild western town worth its salt has a good general store, and Rattlesnake Ranch could be no different, I'm afraid. Rather small and a bit tight on the inside and cramped, I'll admit, although I think it can house exactly what we plan on selling here with ease. For you see, our general store is owned by the coal company, and thus is more like a company store than a general store, and so the products that we plan on selling here are going to be fitting for that, I'd say. Now, most company stores would sell just about anything from food to a horse-drawn wagon, but since we already allow our coal miners to access these types of things for free, we are going to be selling more along the lines of tools, such as pickaxes for people who want to work in the mines, hammers, and hose, garden hose, as well as brooms, just about anything, so they can make their lives here in the town a little bit easier. Sweep the steps on their porch, maybe start their own garden, have at it. We'll also be storing and selling our herbal meds here in case folks want to purchase some natural remedies. Just as well, we're also selling chem fuel from the company store, a vital component, might I add, to fueling the lamps of our coal miners while they're deep under millions of tons of stone, extracting the precious black gold that keeps our economy fueled. And just like that, we have yet another fine establishment under our belts and within our bustling little town to be. It is ready to be opened at this time, but I'm going to wait a little bit longer until we get a few more people into the town. That way work priorities kind of even out a bit. We don't want to take people away from coal mining just to run a store. While we're still on the topic of our coal mining, of course, that's all I've been yapping about this entire time, our mining operations under the mountain here have left us with a lot of stone chunks that are now in the way. Since we don't have a mayor's office to go about commissioning a storage facility for all of these stone chunks, the community gathered together as a group and voted on creating one within our coal mines near the entrance. That way it's not all that hard for our stone masons to cut them into blocks. We've also got them stored in some wooden crates, that way they don't add to the hideousness of being inside this dark and damp mine. Out of sight, out of mind. Within our coal mine, we also found this strange mineral, grayish silver in color and very dense. Similar to gold, I'd say, and yet it was nothing of the sort. Must be useless. The longer I stand near it, though, the more I feel like I have a tumor growing inside my heart. That's weird. I'm sure it's nothing. Now then, we finally gotten our rock chunks cleared, stored, and ready for being turned into blocks. However, the most important thing, they're moved, which now allows us the room to go about building more municipal buildings within this area, such as a mayor's office / town hall. I decided to build it here since the sheriff's office is just across the street and it's not too far from the train station. I like for our new members to get a feeling of law and order. It's quite important to us. Wait a minute, across the street, streets. Oh yeah, those might be important at some point. But first, before we go about building anything, we need to take care of our townsfolk. Many of them are beginning to have mental breaks. Seems that their initial optimism has worn off. Understandable by this point. Many of them were present when the sheriff got gunned down by Pinkertons. I'm sure that's still taking quite a toll on their minds. I will say though that a lot of these reasons for them snapping seem self-inflicted, being in the darkness, sunlight sensitivity, but others do seem like issues that we could help them with, like this searing heat, as well as our townsfolk and coal miners having horrible housing. We've gotten to the point now, our coal miners and townsfolk have been taking good care of us and our community. It's time that we take care of them, damn it. Fixing up their bedrooms and their homes with much better furniture, much more beautiful furniture as well, might I add, as well as flooring and other things, is significantly going to boost their moods. We would go from a mediocre, impoverished, cramped, pretty, clean place to a mediocre, somewhat poor, cramped, beautiful, clean place. Yeah, I know, the rooms are still mediocre, which only gives us a 1-point mood boost, so no change. However, we get a new beautiful environment buff and a spacious interior buff, which is going to help us out a lot, I think, when they're in their rooms. Wait, spacious interior? Well, I have no idea, but I won't look a gifted pony in the arse. Perhaps the best addition of all, though, is the passive coolers that we've added to the rooms. No more sweating and sleeping in the heat. We've also made some wooden vents, allowing the cool temperature to pass through all the rooms with ease. Modern engineering at its finest. We would end up copying this exact design to our other company housing for all of our townsfolk who are working in the mines as well, making their rooms on the same level as the others that I just showed you. This should easily help everybody combat their depression. But adding on to that, we're also gonna start celebrating some birthdays, wedding anniversaries, anything and everything that we can throw a party for realistically. I mean, my God, they slave over the mines for hours on end daily, and yet we're not throwing them birthday parties? Hardly seems fair if you ask me. Funny enough, literally within about a day or so after setting these up, we already started celebrating Smarty's birthday. She was the first of many, I'm sure. This party would make everyone much, much happier, and now that everyone's no longer very severely depressed, we can start working on that town hall / mayor's office that we were discussing before. Nothing too fancy. As always, we are going for the frontier town design, not some bustling big city way up out wherever the hell, okay? Everything's built out of wood, which is fine, but we would also end up adding many a different thing in, like our rugs, so on and so forth, to kind of help break up that brown wooden color that everything has because of the materials used to create it. I think we could use a few more popping colors here and there, but this municipal building isn't exactly all for show. It's more of just a building with a purpose, of course. The main part of the building here, of course, is the most important. As you can see, we have an area where the mayor can go about giving their speeches, where they don't have to worry about the heat of the outside searing sun of the desert. We also have a small meeting place with a table and chairs for perhaps a city council. We also have the personal study of the mayor themselves, or whichever pencil-pushing bureaucrat the mayor decides to keep in their company. Last of all, we have the personal chambers of the mayor, perhaps one of the nicest bedrooms in the entire town, with a fine quilted bed. Oh my, oh my. Whichever of our townsfolk you fine people have elected as the mayor will be tickled plum pink. But before I show you the results of our election, I think it's time that we annex a little bit more land in the northwestern part of our town, just above our yet-to-be-named hotel and our Burning Throat Saloon. We're just going to be building our walls and defenses here as we had a little bit to the southern area previously, obviously expanding them a little bit further and then encompassing all of this land within our influence as well as our protection, of course. And this would give us a lot more land to work with when building our town now. I was racking my brain thinking of what type of building or business we could use in the town at this point, and I thought to myself, we were talking about how the stonemasons have been cutting up stone, and yet we don't even have a masonry. So that is exactly what we ended up building here. A nice place for us to store our chunks, that way they can be cut much faster and easier, using the other storage facility we built within the mine as a bit of an overflow place, if you will, and we'll also be storing our blocks here for future use. Now, you may not think that stone would be all that important given that we always build everything out of wood. However, on the contrary, stone is the perfect material for building our future streets. To become a thriving city here in the West someday, we'll need streets that do not sink up in the mud and sand as wooden boards do, so we'll be getting a head start on a stone stockpile right away. Now that that's concluded, it would seem that our dear Nellie is calling everyone to the newly formed mayor's office for their first town hall meeting, as well as the results of our election. All right, everyone, settle down. Today we'll be announcing the winners of the election for the office of sheriff and, most importantly, the office of mayor. You've all made your voices heard. You've made your concerns a priority to be told to us, as well as your opinions, which I very much appreciate. I can't stress how much I appreciate it, truly. And with all this in mind, we've made a decision. The offices of sheriff and mayor will go to Isla and Armando, respectively. Alright, you two, the people have spoken, so I suppose a congratulations is in order. I'd like to once again thank you all for your opinions and for helping us make this choice, of course, and I hope that your civil servants live up to your expectations. Since Armando is the new mayor, I suppose I'll be taking on him as my persona as the narrator. It's just kind of my thing. Now, after hearing many of your opinions, one thing is clear. Well, actually, two things are clear. You guys want Isla and Armando in these two elected positions, but you also seek revenge, just as we do. And that's exactly why my first act as mayor is tasking and charging our new sheriff with bringing the criminal Pinkerton known as Maylees to justice. I don't care if it's a bullet in the back out on the open range or at the end of a rope here in town. Justice must be served and our revenge granted. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Now then, the Pinkertons are quite the lucrative little operation of murderers who often take the law into their own hands, as we well know. So we're not only just going to need men and rifles to fight back, we're going to need money. By this point, I doubt I have to explain it, but the way that we make the most money is by selling several thousand tons of coal. Now that Armando has been elected as mayor, Golf will be promoted permanently from occasionally engineering the Black Lung and being its hired muscle to a permanent position as its conductor. Not to worry, as we've still packed quite a few of our miners equipped with the finest pistols and rifles and shotguns that we have to protect it on its long voyage of traveling and trading to some of the nearby settlements, none of which had any workers that were looking to be employed at Rattlesnake Ranch, I'm afraid, but they did have a beautiful tiny little pug who I think would be a great consolation. We made around about 20,000 or so silver. That should be just enough money for us to really kickstart this little fight against the Pinkertons, truly, with some good weapons and armor, I'd say. Now we just have to find somebody with those things. But as I mentioned, silver wasn't the only thing we acquired. Our beautiful little lady pug here is now going to be named Pumpkin. Aww. This wonderful name suggestion comes from our good friend LED Fighter 5712 for the first dog of Rattlesnake Ranch. Wishing all the best to you and your mother, my friend. Now, Pumpkin here ain't gonna be no working dog like a German Shepherd or a Labrador Retriever out in our fields, keeping our chickens at bay, that sort of thing. She is actually going to be the mayor's pet. Think of it as a welcome to your new home gift, that type of thing. Speaking of, oh Isla, it would seem that you've already found your way in the sheriff's office. I hope everything's to your liking. Oh, well, already got your own coat, huh? Well, now, not only do you have the experience, but you also look the part. That badge fits your coat as well as it ever did his. Wear it with confidence, dear friend. He's looking down on us with pride. I just know it. Speaking of the new sheriff's attire, this kinda helps me get on to my next point here. She is wearing a steel bulletproof waistcoat. Now, if I could help it, I'd like to have everyone wearing plasteel waistcoats. But to begin, I think I'd like to have Isla the sheriff wearing one at least. They're much stronger, more durable, and much less likely to allow a bandit or Pinkerton's bullet to fly into our heart. Resources are not an issue. As a matter of fact, we have an overabundance of plasteel. We could probably make quite a few of these bulletproof waistcoats out of plasteel. However, the issue is that we don't have any townsperson who is capable of actually crafting them, as we no longer have anyone with a crafting above 6. The issue is, whenever it came to crafting above a level of 6, our old sheriff was the one who would always do it. We really miss you, buddy. Unfortunately, this also means that we have never been further than making Isla her legendary bear pelt attire than we are right now, which also really sucks ass. Oh, excuse me, what's going on here? A raid from the tribe of Abrunio? Somehow I doubted, seeing how we fought side by side with them last episode. Although, that being said, we do have a large group of tribespeople just outside our lands. Unusual. A good few of them also appear to have taken a page from the more destructive parts of our culture. Regardless, though, none of this makes sense. We're good at friends, I would even say allies with the tribe of Abrunio. What's going on here? Ah, I see. This appears to be some sort of splinter faction. The Free Tribe of Abrunio, not just the tribe itself. Highly unusual, but I think they've already made up their minds. Well, with the enemy at our door, I suppose this is the perfect time to tell you that I have recently made Faye here my deputy. I was saving it for a surprise, but we have to go fight. I might as well let you know. I guess just in case something were to happen to either one of us. Something else that I should mention, other than the fact we have a shitload of chickens that we've been killing and eating because they keep giving birth. Oh, they're assaulting, they're coming to kill us. So here, where we had our battle previously with some of the Pinkertons, we actually ended up bricking this up, a little brick and mortar, walling it off. That way enemies cannot come through that area anymore, and because of that they also can't come through anywhere through here. They're stuck in this area, but that would have caused them to start mining to get to the town, which would not have been good. We want them coming through a way that we can kind of handle. Now luckily I have already had the foresight to mine out a small little tunnel for any enemies that might want to try to kill us, and so this is where they're going to be coming from, or coming through, I should say. The problem with that is I don't have a lot of traps up here, which, I mean, it's not that big of a problem, but we have 4 traps up here in the tunnel, and we have 20 tribespeople coming to kill us. Alright, we have a lot of them, that's for sure. Oh, yeah. We're going to be taking cover here behind our embrasures, though, which should give us a lot of cover. And I'm actually gonna set a lot of people up. We haven't made any grape shot rounds for the cannons, dang it. We definitely need to do that. But we are going to be setting people up with their shotguns. Let's see. We'll get the mayor ready. We'll get Gal here. Anybody with a pistol like Fleeb and Lara, I'm going to put on, you know what, actually, shit on the cannons. Those are going to be basically useless. But I might put Lara on one. I'll have Fleeb on the Gatling cannon. That's going to help us out a lot. And we're going to start bringing people with shotguns and rifles to the embrasures to assist us in this combat. I'm hoping this goes well. Slick is making her way up here as well as the sheriff and Faye, her deputy. I've got Nellie hiding in the hotel, of course, since she's incapable of violence. We don't want her getting hurt. Here we go. I don't think we've taken down any. Oh, there goes the first tribesperson. All 4 traps. Took down 1 person. Here we go. An absolute bloodbath already. Oh my god. Okay, let's pause for a second. Good God. We're massacring the enemy forces. But Nestor has already taken a... Oh, Nestor. Oh my God. They shot Nestor's jaw off. Oh, good Lord. Bring Nestor back immediately. Immediately. What's the range looking like? I'm going to put Jane in. Nestor out, Jane in. Okay, thank God they are fleeing. Oh no. Oh, good God. Jane! I didn't even notice. Oh my God, Jane! Oh, what happened? Oh, it was that last tribes person. Jeez. That's the same one that shot off. Let me show you. I can't pronounce words. Kenyoaxada, I suppose, shot off Nestor's jaw. Oh my God, and shot off Jane's head. Oh man, what was the shooting skill on that person? Oh, God, Jane, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. The sheriff and Faye just now got here along with Lloyd. Everybody else other than Nestor, and obviously Jane, are fine, but whew, I don't even know what to say. Oh my good God, that was insane. Absolutely insane. Poor Jane. Poor Jane. That's crazy. All right. Let's simmer down. Let's try to figure this out. So we're gonna let everybody kind of go about their days. I don't need any mental breaks. We're gonna get Nestor attended to, and poor Jane, we will bury her very shortly. We've got our gates open. I'm gonna actually take a look here. What we're looking at. We have a tribesperson named Orange. Pretty okay at everything all around. We have Kangaroo, who is a good melee combat. Good shooter, too, actually. A bit of a slowpoke, but perhaps... Let's see. Let's get our doctors. I'm gonna bring up Nellie and Laura to come and tend to them. Let's bring up the sheriff, too, because she also has a really good doctoring skill. Who we working with? We've got Purple, great at mining, just what we need. Melee. We've also got Gaz Catizero. I'm so sorry about pronouncing. That is a good crafting skill. Nothing else. Maybe a burning passion for intellectual. Oh, construction, actually, yeah, too. But that crafting? 15? That is just what we've been looking for. Not much of a fighter, but we could teach you. A greedy, pessimistic body purist. I accept. We do now also have access to just a lot of different weaponry here. We've got quite a few different, oh, that person died. We've got quite a few different types of rifles and what have you that might be interesting. There we go. We've also got a bit of food, some ammunition. I think we'll go ahead and haul every bit of it urgently. We've taken our prisoners as well, by the way. They should be headed, yes, indeed. They are headed down to the sheriff's office, to the jail, where Faye's gonna book them and maybe beat them for their crimes. Haha, just kidding about that last part, maybe. But now we have the task of burying our poor, sweet Jane. I really didn't think we were going to lose people again so soon. My God. Yeah, I didn't think we were going to lose somebody else so soon. Absolutely crazy. So sad, my God. Jane has been with us for quite some time. I think that would be cause enough, I guess, to give her, too, the same as the sheriff, a proper sarcophagus burial, right? Or at least in my opinion. So we'll build her a sandstone sarcophagus. Oh, it's awful. It really is. It's so sad. It really is. We'll also go ahead and build her a proper gravestone out of sandstone, as well as a little border for her grave. Yeah, just so terrible, though. I genuinely, if I could be honest with you, I was not expecting... Laura's having a tantrum. That's okay. After all that, I don't blame her. People are going to start having mental breaks again. Doesn't matter how many parties we throw or, stuff like that, how nice their rooms are. They're going to be upset at the fact that their friend is dead. And quite frankly, I'm upset as well. I don't know if there's some type of civil war going on with this tribe or what, but I do know we've already picked a side, and we are going to continue picking that side and standing with them and fighting their enemies. Anyhow, though, with Jane, I gotta say, I want to defend myself here a bit. I wasn't moving anyone away from the embrasures. That was really just because it seemed like I would need to. Everyone was doing fine. I didn't see any need to move her away from the embrasures, nor anyone else, because we were winning, right? We were winning. Absolutely horrible. As I look at our defenses now, too, by the way, I realize that I didn't put in a door up this way. Perhaps one right here would be good, I think. We'll put a door in, that way we can keep our gates from having to be open and closed constantly all the time. You can keep your filthy drugs, madam, but we will take your herbal medicine. We'll even take your heavy club. All in all, I mean, that was a pretty good defense of the city, I'd say. How many people do we have in total? Well, before we had 14. Now we're down to 13. Yeah, look at this. Everyone's so upset. I don't blame you guys. I don't blame you at all. I am too. We had 14 people against 20, many of them also wielding firearms. I think we done pretty well defending the town. It's just, I mean, a price was paid. A price was paid for our victory, truly. And, I mean, again, I would have moved her out of the way if I had considered that, but I didn't. Nestor, you're about to break. I don't want to bother you. I really don't, buddy. We're going to get the sarcophagus and built here, and we will get... There goes Nestor in a daze. Dang it. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm so sad. Me too, Nestor. Me too. We're going to get her sarcophagus built, though, here in the graveyard next to our poor deceased sheriff, and we'll get her buried. I think it's only appropriate that we allow Nellie to be the one to bury Jane. I'm sure as many of you remember, they were good friends, and they actually came to town together on the train. From Imps Brook, the nearby town a bit to the northeast. And, I mean, they were good friends, from what I gather. They were good friends. Absolutely... I mean, I keep saying absolutely horrible, absolutely terrible. It is. I still can't believe that we lost our poor Jane. We'll allow Nellie to bury her, after which time we will also come together as a community to mourn our poor Jane. Our sarcophagus also has some artwork called a lentil. An engraving of the sarcophagus depicts Lloyd Lorspar threatening Jane while Jane attacks him. Lloyd's body is covered in intestines. The head of the injured boxer watches over all. It's the picture referring to Lloyd fighting with Jane on the 2nd of September, 5503. Alright, well, you know, she was a little rough around the edges, you know, she beat the shit out of Lloyd a few times, that's how it was. I don't think I showed either. We have artwork on Dale's coffin. It says Dale with purple. The sarcophagus is engraved with an artwork of James Dell Gilbert, packing supplies for a journey and equipped for survival. 10 blacksmiths watch from a distance. The work represents need. The lower part of the image is depicted by 3 cones. Relates to Dale departing for an adventure on the 1st of Jugas 5503. I am curious, I would be curious to see if that was the... It is definitely. Look, I didn't even realize. I forgot to look at this last episode. He departed on the 1st of Jugas 5503. He died the next day. The 2nd of Jugas 5503. So that was the adventure he went on. And that's what this is depicting. Truly beautiful, isn't it? Honestly. A great sentiment as well. The one for Jane, her being a little rough around the edges. Dale, his being his last departure and journey. Beautiful. Truly beautiful. Sad, but beautiful. Let us go ahead and have our funeral. I don't know how well this is going to go. Such a sad sight, seeing the entire community, the entire town coming together for such a grim occasion. But it has to be done, and truthfully, it is the most respectful thing to do for our friend. A lackluster funeral, that's understandable. That's understandable. I get it. I mean, you know, it makes sense. That's okay. Given everything, I mean, we literally just finished fighting with these tribespeople up here, so I get it. I do. It's quite alright. I think as long as we at least mourn her, even if things were a bit lackluster, that's fine. Absolutely fine. Sad. We do need to begin working on getting our prisoners recruited, though, which is something I look forward to. They've already begun healing quite quickly, it would seem, as well. I look forward to having them among us, especially the one I'm going to be referring to as Gaz here, who will be able to do our crafting for us. Indeed, though, without our sweet Jane, our hearts are left a bit more hollow than before. Even more so without her and our dearly departed sheriff. I'm afraid that the West has a cruel way of working out who winds up dead and who somehow still gets to carry on. But as we continue mourning our lost friends, we also have a bulk goods trader from the tribe of Abruzzo. Among them are some relatives of our townsfolk, a berserker by the name of Canto, for gosh, the one tribesperson who tried to kill us that has the great crafting skill, and apparently the mother of Nellie. Borba is her name, and she's just as beautiful as she seems to be elegant. Why, Nellie, you never told us you had a mother. Well, I guess everyone has a mother, but you know what I mean. We were unaware of the tribe previously. It's a bit shocking to hear you were already aware of him because your mother is part of it. But then again, I guess you don't really talk much, though. Nevertheless, though, we would end up trading with our allies here, giving them many of our chickens and a few of our donkeys. Out in these parts, livestock is a crucial component for survival, and a little bit of chicken meat can sometimes be the deciding factor between starvation and not starvation. Given that we're allies, we also decided to sell them all the flame, plasteel, and steel arrows that had come from the raid of their Splinter faction counterparts. Perhaps they'll make their way to a Pinkerton's gullet with any luck. Now, admittedly, we didn't make that much money from the trade, but it can place a price on friendship. Plus, it helped us get rid of all those damn baby chickens that were clogging up our field. Either they get sold or turned into desert nuggets. After supplying our allies with plenty of livestock for food and weapons to defend themselves as well as to take on our common enemies, I think it's also time for us to begin working on our town once more. I think it's about high time that this town had a proper place of worship. So we ended up building ourselves something of a temple and or church for whatever religion that our townsfolk deem fit for themselves, of course, as we're quite accepting and tolerant of all differences between our peoples and their ideological and religious beliefs. But more importantly, with all the death that we've been encountering, I think a place of worship is going to be very, very vital. If you guys want to provide some suggestions, perhaps, for the religious beliefs of the majority of our town, feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. Feel free to come up with anything. The more creative, the better, I would say, as I don't want to just do something basic that's akin to real-life Western civilization. This is RimWorld, damn it. Now, with that finished up, we're also going to be putting a lot of those stone blocks that we had been cutting for so many weeks by this point to good use by building ourselves some granite cobblestone streets. We started this little project down by the coal mine entrance and the municipal buildings, and then making our way over to the company store, finally going throughout the rest of the town around our worker housing, our masonry building, our hotel, everywhere and anywhere realistically that we've already built. Not only will everyone much rather prefer to look at these cobbled streets than the filthy dirt, mud, and sand that we were previously walking on, but they should also help us with dragging dirt and sand into our homes and other buildings, and just as well we'll be able to move much faster to any threat around the city with some good cobbled streets. The point I'm trying to get across is that just having these streets like this is much more important than you might initially think. Now then, a few days later, Deputy Faye and I have finally rehabilitated the tribespeople who, not so long ago, were trying to saw our heads off. Now, instead of being folks who want to murder us, they will be contributing members to our society here, living and blending their cultures along with our own in beautiful harmony. And would you look at that, without even having to be asked, they immediately started hauling wood to our passive coolers and to our lamps. They're just the kind of people we need at Rattlesnake Ranch, rough and tough folks with grit willing to work. Finally, too, with an increased population, we can take Nellie away from her crucial work hauling wood to the passive coolers and coal chunks to our storage facilities, and now she can man the register at the company store, as I had mentioned before. I have the utmost faith that we'll be making a decent sum here within no time. Also keep in mind, folks, along with our new company store, we now have many new businesses and buildings that require names. So if you're feeling a bit creative, please try your hand in the comments at providing a wonderful name for any of them. The store, the church, hell, even the masonry. I look forward to seeing your ideas as always. Speaking of, our hotel we built last episode requires a name, which is going to be Dale's Place, provided from our good friend Princess Pizza Bones, seeing how this town truly was Dale's dream, and even though he got to experience it in its infancy, it's only right that we honor him by naming one of these fine establishments after him. We can build signs and provide our business with names this way, though it's more for UI purposes and not really decorative. But with a little bit of editing, we can use our imagination, and I think you get the idea. This is also something that I think I'll start doing for all of our businesses, like our Burning Throat Saloon as well. But the naming and suggestions aren't finished there, because we have a nickname for Faye, with that being Valentine. The suggestion's from our friend the Villain Club 4285. Now, I don't know if you were meaning for us to actually name Faye Nick Valentine. I'm assuming it's just because they look alike, of course, but I liked it so much I decided to provide her with that nickname, so thank you. I like to think that when Faye was a bandit leader, that's probably what the Pinkertons and law enforcement called her, because she offered her foes the kiss of death. That's just my headcanon, though. Moving right along, though, now thankfully that we have Goss finally rehabilitated, she can put that amazing crafting skill to good work, first and foremost creating for us and smithing together for us the plasteel bulletproof waistcoat for our sheriff. In comparison to the steel bulletproof waistcoat, the plasteel one actually offers a much higher resistance to blunt and sharp damage. Perfect for turning a bullet to the heart into a cracked sternum. Not perfect, but it is much better than dying. Thanks to Gaz's crafting skill, she would also end up finally creating the legendary bear hide hat. Now, admittedly, given the fact that it's very hot here in our climate of this town, it might seem a little bit impractical, but many Pinkertons are based up north where things get much colder. It'll come in handy, trust me. Plus, it's the perfect trophy. Where we're going to need to bundle up for sure. However, before we go anywhere, we're going to need to find those Pinkertons, and to do that, we're going to need more armor and more people with guns. Big old guns. Looks like our newest members are ready. Now, with our increased fighting force, the Pinkertons had best prepare themselves, because they poke the bear, and the bear is starving. Starving for justice.